article Designing for Immediate Play by Martin Pickelmeyer, Lena Mack, and Miguel Sikar is all about games that are specifically designed for immediate play. What they mean by immediate play is a game that anyone can jump in and out of at any time without it being disruptive for the experience. These are typically not digital games, although some exist. This article is mostly focusing on party games and urban games, like you can often find in amateur sports or in child's play. So, what rules do immediate play follow? Immediate play can happen anywhere and with anyone, either voluntarily or incidentally. Yet there are no immediate games, only immediate play. Players have to be able to pick up on the rules quickly, and players can join in with different roles depending on the game and when they join. One example is pick up play on public basketball courts, or escape rooms. Escape rooms is a special case though because it is a form of immediate play where you enter unprepared and it fits all other criteria for immediacy, but the whole purpose of the game is to make it hard to leave. A very popular game featuring immediate play is Assassin, which is popular on college campuses. And this game has a rule that witnesses invalidate a game action, which turns bystanders into unaware players. There are many other examples of immediate play, but let's focus on just some of them. Escape room is a phenomenon that has increased in popularity lately and is essentially you and a group of friends going into a room where you'll have to solve a bunch of puzzles and collect specific items together within a set time to escape. Another popular immediate play game is Journey to the End of the Night, which is a huge scale game of tag at nighttime, where you receive a map and two ribbons. The blue ribbon will go on your arm, the red ribbon will go in your back pocket. You will then race to a location on the map while avoiding the chasers. You're allowed to walk or use public transport, but you cannot use any other mean of transport. If you get caught, they take your blue ribbon as your prize, and you are now a chaser. The chasers at night are almost indiscernible from known players, which make your safe and familiar city feels like you are in an action movie. The paper mentions how some players might mix reality and game, as games are often taking place in public spaces. With its low barrier of entry, immediate play is situated very close to everyday life, and players are easily moving between these two realities. Urban games, in particular, being played in public space, largely overlap with the everyday life of other people as they are played in the presence of everyday people, not aware that there is a game being played around them. Sometimes hiding behind the non players or evading them is even part of the core gameplay. The perceived safety players have because they are in a game can often lead to situations where the play reality overlaps with non-play reality of trespassing. One specific case that the paper mentions is some games that take place in Russia deliberately take players into dangerous areas as an urban game, featuring potential dangerous settings and tasks. These so-called extreme missions have had several injuries and even deaths according to various Russian resources, but a sense of danger is a part of the allure for these games. Some people think that because it's a game, they are protected, and struggle with separating in-game actions with the real world and the dangers that they encounter. Some games openly encourage people to break social rules and laws in form of protest, in a hope of reflection on the rules our society plays by. So how do you design for immediate play? The goals are very clear and concise. It has to be recognizable, quickly understandable in its context. Players have to be able to join and leave friction-free, and the fact that the player's space overlap with non-player space has to be taken into account. Often players happen to across these games that are designed for immediate play by chance, observing before joining. Players might join and leave within 10 minutes, so time is a factor you need to consider when you design these types of games. And so is space, objective, visibility, teams, etc. All these elements are important to think about as your players and the audience might be, anyone. So including everyone in a fun and intuitive way is essential. Also, to design for the refusal to participate or the wish to leave means to clearly inform the player about her options to exit the game. The clearer it is whether someone is taking part of the game, the easier it is to become someone who is not. Exiting Journey to the End of the Night is as easy as taking off your ribbons, although joining has to be done at the start, if not fundamentally change the experience of other players. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the experience doesn't have to be the same for every player. One good example of immediate play in today's society is reality shows. This format thrives in putting people in surprising situations where they force the players into new situations that they have to solve with a limited toolset and bound by very strict rules. The rules of the games are often very simple and can be understood quickly, but sometimes it needs to be communicated. Rules can be explained in a passive, active, or interactive form. A passive explanation relies on images, sound, vision, or text. Active guidance requires a specific built guidance system or a moderator that guides the players throughout the game. Interactive guidance can either be implemented by an interactive electronic system or by having players interact with facilitators. Escape rooms, for example, can use all of these methods to create a more immersive experience. If a staff member moderates throughout the game, she is a moderator. A moderator can shape the direction of the game by influencing the players. If she actively interprets the actions of the player and adapt the game accordingly, she is called a game master. In sports, this role is the referee, a person that is responsible for observing if the players follow the rules, but has the liberty and responsibility to shape the flow of the game. Technology can also play a huge part in immediate play. One example is Johann Sebastian Joust, a game in which you get a Sony Move controller that detects movement, and is a game in which the tempo of the music controls how much you can move your device. If the music is fast, you can move as much as you want, but as soon as the tempo goes down, any abrupt movement will eliminate you from the game. Some other games might take use of the smartphone, and some uses gamepads. Designing games for immediate play that involves technology is a bit challenging, however, as you need the perfect technology for your game. That is also easy to pick up and can be given to a large amount of players all at once. So recommendations for designing immediate play according to this paper involves choosing an easy to understand setting, mark the players to distinguish them from the crowd either with clothing or other branding, make the players observable so others can join or watch. Joining and leaving should be clearly explained. Rules can be explained in passive, active, or interactive form, and you have to pick the right kind of facilitator for your game. Lastly, make technology invisible. It's not supposed to be something that everyone can see and not something that everyone needs to have. So, how can we use immediate play in our own game development projects? One of the main things about designing for immediate play is to have fun together in an easy and intuitive way. Studying why these particular games are perceived so fun and how the low barrier of entry helps to bring other people together can be very useful if you want to create your own games. Learning to think about other types of games and not just video games and seeing what the appeal is and why people love them can only help you evolve your thought process when it comes to developing your own. The focus of immediate play is to turn people into players, no matter who they are.